Austin is not the same market it was 2 years ago. And honestly, that's a good thing for buyers at the moment. The median home price in Austin currently is hovering around $579,000, down 7.2% compared to the same time last year. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If I had to pick the best Austin neighborhoods to live in right now in 2025, these would be my top 10 choices. And honestly, there are not any particular order to them, just 10 of the best ones. I spent time touring all of these areas so you can get the most honest inside scoop on what you're actually getting for your very hard-earned money. You know, little things like where the best parks are or where the most fire tacos are at. And these little things that actually make sure that the place you live at fits your desired lifestyle. Save this video if you're considering a move to the Austin area. Austin is not the same market it was 2 years ago. Honestly, that's a good thing for buyers at the moment. The median home price in Austin currently is hovering around $579,000. And this is, you know, city of Austin. If we consider the whole metro area, it'll trend slightly lower. So $579K, which is actually down 7.2% compared to the same time last year. What does this mean? It means that we're seeing homes sit on the market for about 60 all the way up to 120 days on average, depending on what neighborhood, instead of the way they were flying off within 48 hours with multiple offers just about 2 years ago. Add to that mix, interest rates are hovering around that 6 to 7%, which honestly is not amazing, but what no one's talking about is that inventory is up 16%, which is the largest amount that we've had in Austin for a long time. And it's almost a quarter of listings that are now seeing price reductions in the Austin area. So with all that wrapped up, let's kick this off with the top 10 best neighborhoods in no particular order. Number 1 and number 2, we're gonna kick it off with Westlake and Rollingwood. These are luxurious private neighborhoods. And if privacy, yard space, and top-rated schools are non-negotiable for you and your family, this is going to be an area that you'd like to consider above all the others. Here's what the inside scoop is, what you're actually getting for your money. There are large lots, think maybe an acre, 3/4 acre, very common. There's a lot of trees, live oaks, custom new builds, or fully renovated houses, luxury kitchens, even room for a pool or an entire pool house. You can expect most of the properties to be over $1 million, with the average in Westlake around 1.98 million, and the current average in Rollingwood, which is just south of it, $2.22 million. Of course, this has been softening from the absolute peak that the entire city of Austin experienced in 2021 and 2022. The big pull here is Ames ISD and Westlake High School, both of which are feeder schools that consistently perform as top rated on all different rankings. Information for that is down below. And for this, families pay a premium. The lifestyle here is going to be urban with different greenbelt access, such as Barton Creek. And if you want to go for a hike, that's a great option as well. You've also got very close proximity to Lake Austin if you want to have a boat day. There's tons of quiet, meandering streets, handful of upscale neighborhoods and restaurants, and tons of topography. The commute to Mopac or Highway 360 or even downtown is perfectly doable, but expect rush hour pinch points for sure. Couple of the must visits if you are visiting the Austin area, I want to check out both Westlake and the Rollingwood neighborhoods. I would consider Jack Allen's Kitchen as a upscale American diner with a lot of local comfort vibe to it. Definitely a great pick if you want to stop by for some lunch. If you're looking for a little bit of a wine bar dinner action, then I would go to the Grove Wine Bar. And if you just want a morning, you want to energize yourself, Summer Moon is a very popular coffee shop. Of course, it's not like a local one, it's more of a chain, but it's a very popular option in the neighborhood. Particularly, my favorite one is in Rollingwood. Some of the pros here, just to wrap up, the first two on the list are going to be elite schools, space, and privacy. Some of the cons are you're going to be paying a pretty penny, and you're also going to be exposed to much less nightlife, much less energy just bustling in the streets. So if you're a family that wants the schools and a private yard, Westlake is going to be at the top of your list. I've actually helped quite a few families relocate into this wonderful area, including some families from California and Oregon, literally this year in 2025. They were moving from Portland actually and LA, and they were used to having large homes, a acreage lot. Even one of them was like on a hill with 2 or 3 acres. So that was used to the space. They wanted to maintain that vibe. They had the budget for the $2 million budget, and that was definitely a great option for them. However, if you're looking for something a little bit more energetic and you want something a little bit more dynamic, this lands us at number 3, which is going to be East Austin. East Austin, for the sake of this video, is going to be considered the entire zip code of 78702. East Austin might be the city's most dynamic, food-centric neighborhood. It's a patchwork of renovated historic bungalows right next door to a 3-story infill house that's been completely redone. There's also tons of old historic complexes and adaptive reuse projects in the mix, lots of green spaces. There's even a sculpture park in the mix. Typical home values in 78702 Austin's east side are currently hovering between $558,000 up to some sources reporting $560,000. But here's what those numbers don't tell you, and this is honestly a huge inside scoop, so if you're considering Austin's east side, definitely pay attention. Austin's east side, 78702, is ground zero for Austin's gentrification debate. The east side has definitely changed a lot, and even just 10, 20 years ago was a completely different environment. The engine of East Austin that's making it grow so fast and so violently is its culinary backbone and its creative energy. Think Franklin barbecue lines that start at 6 in the morning, Nick's Taquerias and Veracruz's classic taco restaurants, Desnudo Coffee. All of these have shaped Austin's national food profile, with tons of YouTubers, celebrities, and chefs migrating to the area and flocking here in search of the next big thing. After that, we can add in a unique mix of breweries, late night bars, and street murals, and you've got a 24/7 creative neighborhood, very hipster, very popular, that draws in all those chefs, creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs. Although we need to be aware of the rapid change and gentrification that's reshaping the housing stock here. The rents and social fabric over the last decade has also shifted tremendously, and both of these things are an opportunity. There is infrastructure, new retail coming to the area. So if you're a business owner, lots of them are opening up shop on the east side. There's also a lot of challenges that come with the gentrification. The community being displaced. There's uneven service levels. Property tax is a huge consideration here because those new renovated mansions are dragging up old grandma's property tax and maybe she can't afford it. So when you buy here, you're entering a community that is honestly in transition. Some blocks are all new construction and they all have Teslas or Rivians in the driveway. And right over, you're going to have families who've been there since the 1950s, just trying to hold on to those crazy taxes going up and up every year. The crime rate is between 45 and 65 per 1,000 residents, which is higher than the Austin average, but honestly, that varies wildly block by block. The schools here is another heated debate. There's a lot of challenging schools in Austin ISD, and there's equity issues between East and West schools. A lot of families are buying here in the East side are often child-free or haven't had kids yet, or they're looking to have their kids go to a private or charter school just because the schools are not ranked the highest. But here's why people still come here. You're about 7 to 15 minutes from downtown Austin, depending on which part of the East side. You're walkable to hundreds of venues, and the culture here still feels like Austin. It's very real. There's artists working in studios. There's food trucks that become brick and mortar success stories, live musicians, dive bars, so much to do, and it still feels like the old Austin in a lot of ways. If you're comfortable with the complexity of this patchwork and this evolving transitionary community, and you want to be a part of Austin's most dynamic neighborhood, then East Austin is it for you. However, if you want to enjoy that energy, but you want to move back into a even more central location, now we're going to consider number 4 and number 5 as downtown and the Rainey Street districts. These two, downtown and Rainey, are for people who want the city skyline as their daily backdrop. Picture this: you wake up, step down to your favorite coffee shop, you walk over for a quick comedy show, you grab a rooftop drink with your friends at the skyline. There's so many different things to do, all within that 1 mile radius of your house, and only in downtown is that truly possible. Housing here is mostly condo or high-rise apartment from everything that has amenity-rich towers with doormen and gyms and spa lounges and Botox services, pet chauffeur lounges, all the way to a little bit older, more rundown condos. There's options for everybody. The main thing is that you'll be seeing a trade-off in square footage and yard space as well as privacy, all for instant access and that nightlife, that energy, the restaurants and the trails, such as Lady Bird Lake just next door. Fun fact about that, by the way, Lady Bird Lake is not even a lake. It's actually just the Colorado River running through the center of the city, dividing it into north and south. Let's talk about pricing here in downtown and the Rainey district. As aforementioned, condos are going to be the main thing here. So let's talk about the condo prices. Roughly in that $700K range, if you're looking at one bedrooms as an average. Typical one bedroom rentals are also going to sit between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, although this could vary wildly depending on which building you're at, if it's new or not, what direction your unit is facing within that building, with south and west views commanding a premium, as well as what floor you're on, and so many other details. If you're interested in the downtown or Rainey neighborhood, I personally am an absolute specialist here, and most of the people I relocate that are coming from Boston, think New York, think Miami, that want that high-rise hotel type of life are going to be moving into the downtown area. These are amenities such as 24/7 concierge, private dog parks, golf simulators, football simulators, movie theaters, saltwater pools. If this is the type of lifestyle you're looking for and you're relocating to Austin for work or just for pleasure or family, then downtown is going to be at the top of your list. Rainey Street, on the other hand, is very similar, but has some distinct and characteristic differences. Rainey Street, the entire district, used to be a 1920s bungalows, just bunch of little houses that turned into bars, actually, when I was in college at UT. And it was the best Sunday fun day. And a lot of you watching this might relate to that. And you say, I'm so mad that developers bought up every lot on Rainey and have been just putting up tower after tower after tower. And many of Austin residents really hate Rainey for this change and the way that it's become, because there's incessant traffic, tons of construction. But get this, the construction is almost complete. And my personal hot take, call it a boiling take, is that once this dust settles, Rainey Street will once again be a coveted hotspot. There are tons of projects between Rainey and downtown that the traffic really is the main pain point. But as soon as that's done, we're going to have a very walkable, a very livable, mixed-use type of project, such as the Waterline Tower, which is actually the tallest building in the entire state of Texas. It's 74 stories tall and over 1,000 feet in height. Also in the downtown area is the Austin Convention Center, which is completely getting renovated, $24 million plus. And if you're thinking about, Austin's already an entertainment district, it's already a global attraction. This is only going to further bolster Austin's position on the global landscape as a place for conventions to go down, for concerts to come, and for artists to have their displays. The lifestyle trade-offs here in downtown are absolutely clear. There's unmatched walkability with amenities like the Ann and Roy Butler, that's a hike and bike trail, simply outside your doorstep for a lot of these different condo projects. There's an insane concentration of music and eating scene, and that means more noise at night. That also means higher parking costs. And above all, for many people, a lack of privacy. Downtown and Rainey tends to skew towards young professionals, people who are downsizing, and people who are putting their lifestyle first, people who want a faster lifestyle in general. Families usually look for the suburbs because they want larger homes, or maybe they want areas with really high-rated schools. The transit is definitely improving here with a ton of planned expansion to both I-35, the main highway in Austin, as well as an entire light rail that has been so highly debated. More videos about that on my channel down below. Some of the must-pick visits here in the downtown and Rainey district are going to include Banger's Sausage House and Beer Garden. One of my favorite for casual nights or even just day drinking days, where people are you'll find people wearing lederhosen and a bunch of like German-inspired fits. Really cool spot. There's West 6 for the bars that are much more energetic compared to other bar districts around the city of Austin. There's DJs there. There's picture, beat drop, middle-aged to younger crowd. There's also more classy speakeasies like Powder Room, one of my favorites. The unique thing about Powder Room is that they actually take your phone before you go in. So definitely text your girlfriend back or call a babysitter before you end up going there. Another upscale spot that I really enjoy frequenting is Tiger Lily. There is a nice pink and green decor. Some pros of living in the downtown and Rainey district summarized here. The main thing being insane instant access to everything. The cons being a higher cost per square foot than almost anywhere else. Maybe only Rollingwood and Westlake would rival it. And for a lot of people, prohibitively, tons of noise and not the best access to schools. I recently helped a retired lawyer and Wall Street banker move down from Chicago to a downtown luxury resort style apartment. He's currently renting now, although he's let me know he plans on buying in the next year. He just wanted to enjoy the skyline views, enjoy that walkable lifestyle, and really settle down so he can check out the place for a year, learn what neighborhoods he likes, and then make a more permanent decision. Another client moved down from Virginia, actually, and I think this one was about a month ago. He moved down. He was an 18-year-old AI guy who had a desire to move into the tech powerhouse of the South, and he moved to Austin, Texas. He found me on YouTube. He literally just shot me a text. Within a week, we were looking at options. He nailed a beautiful penthouse at one of the most coveted buildings, and that's all I'll say for privacy reasons. If you're curious about renting first or buying right away or selling to buy, my Calendly link and contact information are in the description below. So text or call me and we'll walk through your timeline and lifestyle goals so we can build a plan that literally will work for you specifically. If you're looking for that energetic lifestyle but want to be south of the water, this brings us to number 6, which is 78704. Honestly, one of my favorite zip codes in the entire city. This neighborhood at number 6 is going to be an area that is comprised equal parts of boutiques, shopping centers, iconic murals, and immediate access to tons of green spaces like SoCo Park, which is one of the biggest parks in the entire city of Austin and by far the most popular. The housing here, in one word, is eclectic. You'll see tons of renovated bungalows, new construction projects and condos, as well as restored historic mansions and super luxurious 3,000-4,000 square foot homes that are worth $3 or $4 million. The estimated single family medians in this range is about $900K, with a lot of areas easily being over $1 million. There's going to be proximity to two big magnets, being the Zilker Park and the South Congress regions. Really what you're buying here is access and walkability. Festivals like ACL are literally going to be in your backyard. For families that are considering this 78704 zip code, oftentimes we'll send your kid to private school, but if you don't, Zilker Elementary, great option, and Austin High is going to be a common reference here. My favorite restaurant in the zip code is going to be Loro Asian Fusion Smokehouse, which is going to have the most amazing wings and they have like carnitas, or they used to. It's spectacular. Definitely go to Loro. They have a great selection of beers on tap. And Loro, if you're watching this, throw me a gift card, please. Some practical advice here. There's going to be limited driveway parking, and there's really tight density around all these shopping centers and restaurants because of how popular O4 really is. And if you want the outdoor space, you should prioritize properties that advertise private yards or rooftop decks, since that's basically what you'll be getting. Again, the main thing in this neighborhood is going to be access and walkability. There's a couple other must-visit picks that are on my personal list, such as Joe's Coffee, the I Love You So Much mural that everybody and their mom takes photos of when they come to Austin, catching a slice at Home Slice Pizza for a casual evening, hitting up a First Thursday at Aviator Nation, or maybe Perla's for some bougier seafood. my favorite seafood restaurant in Austin. Wrapping up this number 6 spot on our list today, again, no particular order, don't get it twisted, is the 78704 zip code. The main pros are going to be the immediate, convenient access to the best things in Austin, as well as a very dense social and culinary neighborhood. The biggest cons are going to be the premium pricing, as well as less private outdoor space, which again, you have more public outdoor space to combat that. Next on our list, we're going to break into spot number 7, which brings with it the master plan community concept. This is a concept that is, in my experience, pretty unique to Texas. And it's basically when a developer makes an entire neighborhood where someone could literally live their life without leaving it. It's all about convenience and access there. Mueller is going to be, in my opinion, the best master plan community in the Austin region because it's going to have the shopping, the schools, the convenient access to all the amenities that master plans aim for, the sense of community, the HOA that paves the roads, landscapes the yards, mulches the trees. You have all that jazz, but you're literally just 10 to 12 minutes away from downtown, about 15 to 20 from the airport, and you're super close to everything that you really would need. Most of these master plans are going to be in the outskirts. Here at Mueller, you'll find townhomes as well as newer single-family homes and also apartments. So if you're looking to rent, Mueller is one of the most common places I help people relocate. I just helped someone from Pittsburgh last week. The average rents here are going to be around $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, about $3,000 for a 2-bedroom. So definitely not cheap, but also much more affordable and approachable than a lot of these other neighborhoods like downtown and Rainey. The average price of a home is going to be in that $700K range. And what makes Mueller special is that it's designed literally from ground zero to be super walkable. Every single resident lives at most 600 feet from green space. In fact, 20% of the entire area of the neighborhood is dedicated towards public green spaces. There's over literally thousands of acres of parks. There's over a half marathon length of bike trails. And there's a 6.5-acre artificial lake anchoring the neighborhood in Mueller Lake Park. The walkability score on average here is an 80, which for a neighborhood built in the last 20 years is absolutely incredible. The retail is thoughtfully curated. One of my favorite spots is grabbing a pint of Guinness at the B.D. Riley's Irish Pub. Also a great place to watch Longhorn games or any like MLS game. Alamo Draft House to catch a flick. I take my girlfriend there all the time. There's a super nice H-E-B on 51st Street, which is the north part of the neighborhood, as well as a farmer's market that visits and pops up every Sunday. But Mueller isn't just trying to be cool. It's trying to be functional, and it definitely works. The demographics here are going to be a median age is in the mid-30s is very common. However, a lot of bigger professionals also in their mid-20s like to migrate here after graduating from a different university or even graduating from UT. Mueller represents a unique crossroads of that energy along with family-oriented neighborhoods. You'll see a lot of moms with a stroller, a lot of people walking their dogs 8, 9 p.m. at night. It's a very safe neighborhood. It's also very attractive to empty nesters who want to downsize and have that lock and leave kind of lifestyle, but still be central. So it's really like a small town, and it happens to be just 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Austin. One of the challenges here in the Mueller neighborhood is going to be the schools, since Austin ISD is, again, very different depending on where you are. I'll leave more links down below so you can do your research on that. However, Mueller, good news, is a hotspot for tons of daycares and unique, not traditional elementary and middle schools. I personally went to a Montessori, and I'm actually from El Paso, Texas, but I went to a Montessori, and I see that there's some actually in the Mueller neighborhood. Mueller is the neighborhood I live at, so if you have any questions and you're thinking about Mueller, I'm definitely your guy on that front. In summary, Mueller has it all. The pros are going to be all the big major employers and all the amazing retail just to walk away because it is a master plan community. And the cons might be that it's a little bit pricey for being where it's at. as well as the difficulty in choosing the right schools. Now, if you want to maintain that master plan feel, but you want to be maybe a little bit further from downtown with a much better price point, we're going to consider the southeast corner of the city now with a master plan community called Easton Park. Easton Park is built for the new home buyer, and it still has a community programming aspect. There's an HOA involved that keeps everything looking pretty and all the amenities tip-top shape. The main difference is that you're not so close to the city as Mueller is, and you also don't have that sticker shock that some Mueller residents definitely feel. The product here in terms of housing is going to be comprised mostly of single-family, smaller lot houses, as well as alley-loaded townhomes, which means that it's like a row of 2 townhomes with an alley between them, and that's where the garages are at. There's targeting fast-growing families or first-time home buyers. Their median pricing is probably in the 500, 550K range. This is a master plan development, so there are multiple builders that have multiple price points. So it's really difficult to give an average, but there's homes everywhere from the mid 400s up to like 700,000-800,000. The development itself is going to sit inside Del Valle ISD. There's Easton Park here includes some on-site elementary options. There's also an amenity center called the Union, which is massive. It's like a big black cube. And there's actually a video on my channel that gives you a tour of Easton Park where you see that. It's a 14,000 square foot community hub that has clubhouse amenities, pool parties that you can host, as well as some markets on the weekend. The clubhouse also has huge draws of different programming events that are orchestrated there. There's main perk that comes out of that is that you have an instant neighborhood vibe and you have a built-in lifestyle that a lot of residents really enjoy. Here's some real considerations to take into account and some pros and cons. Del Valle ISD has been investing millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure. Its campuses still show mixed ratings and their historic performance has been mixed. Biggest pro here is that you get that new community, you get that master plan feel, and you have it at a much more approachable price per square foot compared to other master plan communities like Mueller. And the cons are going to be the schools can be a little bit of a concern depending on where you are. And there's going to be few mature establishments nearby, whether that be restaurants or venues, just because you are in a less densely populated area and retailers have not established themselves quite yet. Now, if we want to go up north with it and we end up at number 9 and number 10. Number 9 is going to be a master plan community in Liberty Hill called Santa Rita Ranch. And it's actually the biggest master plan community in the entire Austin Metroplex. There are tons of new homes here from more than a handful of builders and a ton of amenities, literally multiple parks, multiple amenity centers, multiple pools, crazy. The type of product here is going to be a 3 all the way to 5 bedroom floor plan. A lot of these lots might have a little bit more space than something like Easton Park, but they're not going to be massive. Think about quarter acre, maybe like 0.15 acres as an average. The price point here is going to be in the mid 500K range. However, this is gross price. If you look at price per square foot, that will be very approachable. The homes here tend to be in the larger end, most of them being 2,500 square foot on average. The school zoning here is also very unique. It's one of the few master plan communities that is so damn large that it has 2 different zonings for schools. On one hand, you have Liberty Hill ISD, which is on the west side of the neighborhood. And on the east side, you're going to have Georgetown ISD. The plan is always changing, and there's on-site elementary schools for either side. So if you are interested in moving to Santa Rita Ranch, you should always double check exactly which of those school districts should be falling into. There is a couple reasons why people really gravitate towards Santa Rita Ranch. There is a resort vibe that is exuded from this community that most master plans just can't even keep up with. There's an estimated $80 million worth of amenities dispersed across the myriad of pools, clubhouses, trails, and all those other amenities that Santa Rita Ranch prides itself in. For families who want a community feel that is immediate, and they're craving newer infrastructure, newer houses, and they don't mind the 30 to 50-minute downtown traffic, then this Santa Rita Ranch Master Plan community is going to be a very solid option. There's a couple must visits. However, most of those will end up being in Liberty Hill cafes or even some Georgetown diners, since that is, it's a very new area and everything is coming in. If you're a small business owner and you are thinking of moving to Austin, these are actually some pretty good opportunities where I've helped some people that have like a coffee shop and they buy a house in one of these communities, and there's also a demand to put their coffee shop there since there's not a lot of retail at the moment supplying those neighborhoods. There's actually a Costco moving in pretty close to Santa Rita Ranch, which is going to bolster that growth even further. In summary, some pros of Santa Rita Ranch is going to be you're getting a brand new home, a brand new community, and you have that community feel along with all the amenities. And the main con, obviously, is going to be the commute, as well as maybe a little bit of the confusion that comes around school districts. Up north as well, if we want to consider a separate master plan community, let's turn our attention to number 10 on the list. We made it to the last one. Stay tuned, though. There's 2 bonus picks at the end. Number 10 is Wolf Ranch. Is in Georgetown, which is just north of Austin on I-35, and it sits on a ridge in Georgetown. It delivers hill country views, and it also has an established downtown, which is pretty cool. There's a product mix here that is a lot of single-family plans, some new, some old, as well as a minimal presence of townhomes. The estimated median here is in the mid 500K range. And of course, you can move much higher if you have a ridge lot or much lower if you have a small house. Here, you'll find the only 3D printed home community in the entire world. I have a video on my channel that gives an in-depth view into how these homes are built. So if you're curious, check that video out. In terms of schools, the neighborhood is going to feed into Georgetown ISD, which, like we mentioned, Santa Rita Ranch, part of it goes there and part to Liberty Hill. Here, all of it will go to Georgetown ISD. It's a respected district in the area, and the development focuses on parks, trails, and a calendar of community events. So both you and your kids will have a great time here in Wolf Ranch. If you want a short escape from Austin, but still be realistically commutable to that North Austin Job Center corridor, a lot of it being Tech Ridge, or even just like Round Rock in that area, Wolf Ranch offers a nice middle ground. Here you'll find a small town center, which is like a proper downtown, and tons of little local restaurants and coffee shops, outdoor perks, as well as lots of little trails and a lot of family-oriented events in Georgetown. That wraps up the first 10 on our list. Here we have 2 bonus picks that didn't quite make the 10, but they are worth mentioning. First and foremost, we're keeping the focus, keeping the heat, keeping the pressure on master plan communities. Now we're looking down southwest, which is Circle C Ranch. This is a Southwest Austin community that has been a long time master plan. There are now established schools. There's a full golf course, tons of pools and trails. This is what I imagine Easton Park will turn into in probably like 25 years. The median price here is in the high $700,000 range. Circle C Ranch is a suburban perfection. You're close to the city, but you're far enough to feel like you're having a tranquil lifestyle. You have the master plan aspect. It's truly a great neighborhood in Austin. Just didn't quite make my top 10. Last but not least on our list is the oldest money in Austin, Tarrytown. Tarrytown has that old money energy and vibe to it. There are massive heritage oak trees. There's homes from the 1920s that are beautifully restored, as well as brand new ones that are being erected every single year. The median home price here sits well above $2 million, which is not even expensive for the area, which is why this neighborhood is not in the top 10. The pricing here is simply just too darn high. Here in Tarrytown, you'll enjoy walking distance to Lake Austin, as well as tons of coffee shops like Mozart's and much more. There's incredible restaurants here like Jeffrey's as well. And fun fact, Austin's favorite actor, Matthew McConaughey, and UT Horn's biggest fan, Matthew McConaughey, lived in Tarrytown. So that should tell you, must be a pretty cool place to live. All right, all right, all right. In summary, I want to offer my honest take on the Austin real estate market. I've been a real estate broker here for over 5 years. I've seen a lot of different situations. I've helped a ton of people relocate. And the truth is that right now we're in a very unique and opportunistic window. See, the interest rates are higher than they've been, but they're stabilizing. Inventory is also way up. And because of these different factors, sellers are finally having the reality check that they need to negotiate. If the rates drop about 1% in the next year, my hot take is that the competition is going to come roaring back because a lot of people have been sitting on their property with golden handcuffs, unable to sell. And on the other side, a lot of buyers have been priced out, with an interest rate cut solving both those problems. My checklist for clients here is a real, authentic, and genuine look at the financial numbers. Everything from the mortgage, the property taxes, which vary wildly depending on what area of town you're in. Is there an HOA or not? How much is that? Is it mandatory? Insurance premiums, everything in between. Texas property taxes, for instance, on average are 2%, maybe even higher if it's a newer area. Maybe 2.6 if you're in Georgetown. So this might shock you if you're coming from California, and it may not be something you're even considering. Second, after we look at the numbers, we want to visit during rush hour and a Saturday night. I like to ask people to do that so they can get an honest look at what are the commute times going to actually be like during rush hour, and what is the noise like on a Saturday night? Is that something that you're going to be able to enjoy in real life? Check the school boundaries, make sure that the addresses that they're interested in happen to fall into the school district that they are expecting and hoping for. We have to look at what's coming and being built nearby, right? There could be an empty field, for instance, around these master plan communities. They get built in phases. So working with a trusted realtor like myself is absolutely key and imperative for you to understand what is coming. Are they done building? Because that big field just down the road could turn into 500 homes in 2 years of nonstop construction. Most importantly, I think it's crucial to think 5 years out. Austin is still growing just differently than it did before. The Samsung facility that's being developed that's worth billions of dollars, Tesla footprint expanding, Apple coming into the mix, Oracle leaving. Tech companies are still moving and going. There's a lot of reshaping going on in our city. And what I always like to say really is we should buy where Austin is going, not where it's been. Point is that every situation is unique and different. Some people need to move quickly. Other people need to, pump the brakes a little bit and plan for 6 months. I'm currently working with a family that's relocating from California. We toured several homes. They flew into the area. They usually do that when they want to explore. I met up with them. I spent a whole weekend, and we have to now wait for them to sell their home in LA so they could come relocate here since they need to sell that to buy. Their home is being listed. I'm coordinating with the Calabasas realtors so that we know exactly when the time is right for us to pull the trigger, and we're timing the sale so they don't feel rushed or in a liquidity crunch. Whatever your situation is, whether it's renting first and then buying, like the Chicago lawyer I mentioned earlier, selling to buy, like the Calabasas family, or if you're buying directly, I've helped folks in your situation and with your timeline in the past. If you're serious about moving to Austin, Texas, let's talk. The link in description down below goes to my Calendly, which is basically linked to my calendar. So you can pick a time that works and we'll do a video call. I'll share my screen. I'll give you real-time insights. I'll give you access to listings. And we could talk about the different neighborhoods, where schools are zoned, what the tax rates are, all the jazz that we've covered in this video, even where the best Kung Pao chicken's at. Or if you prefer, you can just text me if calling isn't your thing. My number is on the description down below. That said, thank you so much for watching. I'm curious, which neighborhood spoke to you? Drop in the comments below. I respond to absolutely everybody. If this helped, please do me a favor and smash the subscribe and like button, and drop new Austin content like this every single week, including the best property tours, market updates, neighborhood deep dives, just like this one, restaurant guides, and everything in between. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Austin.